So is there a reason that he's doing all of these events? He seems so little.
So because he's in the bantam category, so he's 12 and under, what Athletics Alberta does is they ask athletes to compete in multi-events. So it's something they've done over the past 10 years, and it's been really successful, and just to avoid that early specialization in specific events.
Okay, but that's so many events in a day.
So there's so many events because Athletics Alberta bases that framework on the long-term athlete development model. So the reasoning behind all these events is to allow the athletes to learn about new events. They're training different energy systems, and they're creating appropriate training for the athlete's training and development age. So each day offers a distance event, a sprint event, a throw-in event, and a jumping event. And then based on the athlete's sport experience and their age, the multi-event option is really one of the best suited for athletes just joining track and field for the first time.
But Michael doesn't do all of these events in school track and field, so I'm just wondering why the change now.
So in the school level, Michael's coach might just be a phys ed teacher, and they might not be certified, and they'll only make Michael do like 1 or 2 events. In the club level, he has a certified coach. We really promote that multi-event framework and that lifestyle. So then he has an increased exposure to all the events, not just one. He's able to interact with all the different athletes and the officials and the coaches, and all while being guided by coaches like us.
How do I know that Michael's safe doing all of these events?
For safety reasons, all the athletes that do multi-events at that age level, they're required to stay with other athletes in that combined event group. So they do the whole day as one giant group, and there's enough time in between each event where Michael can warm up, he can cool down, he can compete, and at the same time he's also being taught values throughout that whole process. So he's learning about respect and encouragement, competition, dedication, confidence, passion, and sportsmanship as well.
So what happens when all of these kids get older? Like, does Athletics Alberta still follow the LTAD model?
So when athletes get older and they move up to that midget and youth category away from that bantam, Athletics Alberta still really tries to keep with that LTAD model. So they really like to encourage the multi-events as athletes get older, because obviously they're still developing physically and mentally as well. And it also is great, because Michael's able to increase his knowledge of the sport, and that's really good for, if he wants to make provincial teams as well. So, and research even shows that with the LTAD model, coaches are able to adapt and take concepts from it and directly apply it to their coaching, and they understand that with the model and the framework, it's really easy to teach athletes all these values and proper and safe ways of training, and it just makes them easier to coach overall.
Okay, so then does he have a choice what he gets to do when he's older then in terms of events?
Of course. So when Michael gets older, he has the choice to do whatever event he'd like to do. And as coaches, we don't ever force them into doing an event. We're just there to guide him, into an event group that he'd most likely succeed in. So we may not know that right away, in a year or two, just because he's still developing overall as an athlete. So right now we can just judge and assume what events he'd be good for in the future. But if we practice things like endurance and strength and power, agility, flexibility, mobility, all that stuff can be useful, in conditioning him overall. And then even if he doesn't want to do track and field in the future, we're preparing him, as an overall athlete to do well in other sports too.
And you'd be able to provide him with the adequate training to do that?
So thanks to the multi-event framework and of course the LTAD model, us as coaches were able to directly apply what Athletics Alberta wants for youth athletes and especially the younger athletes as well. So we can use components of the model. Like I said, we want to increase athletes' athletic awareness, their physical literacy, and then we can make workouts, based on how they're training, how they're developing, how they're progressing, because we want to make them age appropriate and we want to make them fun, okay? Because we want to see them grow, we want to see them develop that's the main purpose, really, of just multi-events overall. So does this kind of help you understand a little bit, of why Michael is doing all these events?
Okay, I can see the benefits of that now. Thanks for clearing everything up.